everybody, I'm the narrator.
Hello, my name is Little Red Riding Hood.
I'm the wolf.
And my name is Grandma.
Are you ready for our story? Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in a village near the forest. Whenever she went out, the little girl wore a red riding cloak, so everyone in the village called her Little Red Riding Hood. One morning, Little Red Riding Hood asked her mother,
Mother, can I go visit Grandmother?
The mother said that was a very good idea. So they packed a nice basket for Little Red Riding Hood to take to her grandmother. When the basket was ready, the little girl put on her red cloak and kissed her mother goodbye. But before she left, her mother reminded her to go straight to Grandma's house. Don't play along the way, and don't talk to strangers. The woods are dangerous.
Don't worry, Mommy. I'll be careful.
But when Little Red Riding Hood noticed some lovely flowers in the woods, she forgot her promise to her mother.
Oh, what a beautiful flower. I'll pick some for my grandmother. This is such a beautiful day.
Suddenly, a wolf appeared beside her. "What are you doing out here, little girl?"
I'm on my way to see my grandma, who lives through the forest, near the brook. Oh, I'm going to be late. I have to go. Excuse me.
Little Red Riding Hood rushed to her grandmother's house. The wolf, in the meantime, took a shortcut. The wolf, a little out of breath from running, arrived at Grandma's and knocked lightly on the door.
Oh, thank goodness, dear. Come in, come in. I was worried sick that something had happened to you in the forest.
The wolf let himself in. Poor Granny did not have time to say another word before the wolf gobbled her up. Oh, I'm sleepy. I will put on a nightgown, and I will wait for the little girl. A few minutes later, Red Riding Hood knocked on the door. The wolf jumped into bed and pulled the covers over his nose.
Who is it? It's me, Little Red Riding Hood.
"Oh, how lovely! Do come in, my dear." When Little Red Riding Hood entered the cottage, she could scarcely recognize her grandmother.
Grandmother, your voice sounds so odd. Is something wrong?
"Oh, I have a cold."
But, Grandmother, what big ears you have.
"The better to hear you with, my dear."
But, Grandmother, what big eyes you have.
"The better to see you with, my dear."
But, Grandmother, what big teeth you have.
"The better to eat you with, my dear." The wolf roared and jumped out of the bed and began to chase the little girl. She ran across the room and through the door, shouting,
Ah! Help! Somebody help me, please!
A woodsman who was chopping logs nearby heard her cry and ran towards the cottage as fast as he could. He grabbed the wolf and made him spit out the poor grandmother.
Oh, Grandma, I was so scared. I'll never speak to strangers or stop to play in the forest again. There, child. You've learned an important lesson. Thank goodness you shouted loud enough for this kind woodsman to hear you.
The woodsman knocked out the wolf and carried him deep into the forest where he wouldn't bother people any longer. Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother had a nice lunch and a long chat. The end.